Spider-Man from YouTube.
I'm not.
You were on the ceiling.
I wasn't. Ned, what are you doing in my room?
May let me in. You said we're gonna finish a Death Star. She doesn't know.
Nobody knows. Well, I mean, Mr. Stark knows because he made my suit, but that's it.
Well, Tony Stark made you that. Are you an Avenger?
Yeah, basically. Dude, you can't tell anybody about this. You gotta keep it a secret.
A secret? Why?
Because you know what she's like. If she finds out people try and kill me every single night, she's not gonna let me do this anymore.
Okay. I'll level with you. I don't think I can keep this a secret. This is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me.
I can't believe this is happening right now.
Quiet on the set!
This is Michael Faulkner, and it is showtime at the June 27th, 2017 edition of the Weekly Podioplex, brought to you on the Chronic Riff Network. We will be taking next week off, so this week you get 2 weeks worth of releases. This week's birthdays include June Lockhart from Lost in Space, Chris O'Donnell, Robin from the 1990s Batman films, Chandler Riggs from The Walking Dead, Tobey Maguire, who was once Spider-Man, Matthew Lewis, who was maybe the chosen one in Harry Potter, director J.J. Abrams, Felicia Day from Dollhouse, Buffy and the Guild, and classic comedian and vodka salesman Dan Aykroyd. Starting with the box office report, the winning title wasn't so much a winner after all. At number 10 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, down 1 from 9th. At number 9 is Captain Underpants, the first epic movie, down 1 from 8th. At 8 is Rough Night, down 1 from 7th. In 7th is Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, down 1 from 6th. And finishing out this week's bottom 5 is All Eyes on Me, breaking the pattern by dropping 3 from 3rd. The top 5 this week begin with The Mummy, going back to that pattern by sliding down 1 from 4th, with $6.1 million toward a new total of $68.7 million. In 4th place is 47 Meters Down, picking up 1 spot from 5th and adding $7.1 million to a total of $23.9 million. In 3rd place is last week's winner, Cars 3, adding $24 million to a total of $98.8 million. In 2nd is Wonder Woman, holding position from last week and adding $24.9 million to a total of $318.1 million. Diana is outpacing all of the previous DC Extended Universe films, coming in $7 million ahead of Batman vs. Superman at the same point in their respective runs. Wonder Woman has exceeded the gross from Man of Steel's entire theatrical run, is around $7 million behind Suicide Squad, and is on track to overtake Dawn of Justice in mere days. This week's winner is Transformers: The Last Knight, but it's not much of a victory, as it limps across the finish line with $44.7 million over 3 days and a 5-day total of $68.5 million. Of the live-action franchise films, this is the lowest premiere of the 5, coming in $25 million behind the first one from 2007. Of course, this was expected, since the movie is geared more toward the rising international market, which is where Transformers has typically been strongest. Spanning 41 international markets this weekend, The Last Knight picked up $196.2 million, with $123.4 million of that coming from China. Back on American shores, reception was varied. The mostly male audiences gave it a B+ cinema score. However, the minority of audiences that were under the age of 18 gave it an A. Critics, on the other hand, barely mustered double-digit enthusiasm with a 15%. Let's close out the box office report with the look was winning in years gone by. 5 years ago in 2012, Ted took number 1 with $54.4 million. Ted broke the Hangover's record for the highest weekend debut for an original R-rated comedy. 10 years ago in 2007, Ratatouille won the weekend with $47 million. 20 years ago in 1997, Face Off was the winner with $23.4 million. 30 years ago in 1987, Dragnet took the title with $10.5 million. And 40 years ago in 1977, The Rescuers won the box office crown with $6.9 million, breaking 101 Dalmatians' record for the highest opening weekend for a Disney film. The box office premieres for June 30th start with another visit to Gru, the Minions, and those adorable adopted daughters. This week's headliner is Despicable Me 3, an animated comedy starring Steve Carell, Kristen Wiig, and Trey Parker.
Pito patamilo milata katiki puletica, c'est pas la joie des mitocala namoule macarena. Paoletus pas beau patimele, c'est pas macagusta, mamie les belles, mais la moustache et la pica mucha. Moca coca pila caca fisa bella la masala papa mama lo capi papo la gusta la rumata che paco damila toca boca pisa la lasagna. Chica la poma capompa bella mira la Polonia. Chica la poma capompa bella mira la Polonia. Chica la poma capompa bella mira la Polonia. Chica la poma capompa bella pota mira la Polonia. Pito patamilo milata katiki puletica, c'est pas la joie des mitocala namoule macarena. Moca coca pila caca pisa bella la masala papa mama lo capi papo la gusta la rumada. Moca coca pila caca pisa bella la masala papa mama lo capi papo la gusta la rumada. Che pa contamila toca moza pisa la lasagna. Che pa contamila toca moza pisa mata la lasagna. Moca coca pila caca pisa bella la masala papa mama lo capi papo la gusta la rumada.
Gru meets his long-lost, charming, cheerful, and more successful twin brother, Drew, who wants to team up with him for one last criminal heist. Despicable Me 3 is rated PG. The second title on the list is The House, a comedy starring Will Ferrell, Amy Poehler, and Ryan Simpkins.
Bob took away our scholarship, which we were kind of counting on.
But then we remembered that we have a college fund with our dear financial advisor, Dawn.
You don't have enough money.
Okay, right here. It says right here in this account we have $401,000.
Jackpot.
You missed it.
Nope. That says you have a 401k account. If you liquidate that right now, you'll have, maybe $5,000.
So what happened to the other $396,000?
Boom.
Gotcha!
What is wrong with the two of you?
A dad convinces his friends to start an illegal casino in his basement after he and his wife spend their daughter's college fund. The House is rated R. And number 3 on the list is Baby Driver, a crime thriller starring Ansel Elgort, John Barenthal, and John Hamm.
So you're just starting your day, or did you just get off?
Oh, I don't know if I ever get off. They call, I go,
So what is it you do?
I'm a driver.
Oh, like a chauffeur. You drive around important people.
I guess I do.
Anyone I'd know?
I hope not.
Well, aren't you mysterious?
Maybe.
Maybe? So when was the last time you hit the road just for fun?
Yesterday.
I'm jealous. Sometimes all I want to do is head west on 20 in a car I can't afford with a plan I don't have. Just me, my music, and the road.
I'd like that too.
After being coerced into working for a crime boss, a young getaway driver finds himself taking part in a heist doomed to fail. Baby Driver is rated R. The box office premiere for July 7th is a turning of a new leaf for a comic book movie veteran. That one is Spider-Man: Homecoming, the fourth film in Phase 3 of Marvel's Cinematic Universe, starring Tom Holland, Michael Keaton, and Robert Downey Jr.
What's the matter? Thought you loved larb. It's too larby? Not larby enough. How many times do I have to say larb before you talk to me?
You know I larb you. I'm just stressed the internship and I'm tired.
The Stark internship. I have to tell you, not a fan of that Tony Stark.
After an ATM robbery was thwarted by Queens' own colorful local crime stopper, the Spider-Man.
You spot something like that happening, you turn and you run the other way.
Yeah, of course.
6 blocks away from us. Well, we didn't order that.
Some house.
Oh, thanks.
He larbs you.
Following the events of Captain America: Civil War, Peter Parker attempts to balance his life in high school with his career as the web-slinging superhero Spider-Man. Spider-Man: Homecoming is rated PG-13. Between the next 2 weeks, you have 7 titles on the limited slate, and you can find those in the show notes. Next up is a look at the home entertainment slate for the weeks of June 27th and July 4th. And starting with the new releases on DVD and Blu-ray for June 27th, we have Power Rangers, a sci-fi fantasy action film starring Elizabeth Banks, Naomi Scott, and R.J. Seiler. A group of high school kids who are infused with unique superpowers harness their abilities in order to save the world. Power Rangers is rated PG-13. The second title is Chips, a comedy starring Dax Shepard, Michael Pena, and Adam Brody. A rookie officer is teamed with a hardened pro at the California Highway Patrol, though the newbie soon learns his partner is really an undercover Fed investigating a heist that may involve some crooked cops. Chips is rated R. Number 3 is T2, Trainspotting, a drama starring Ewan McGregor, Evan Bremer, and Johnny Lee Miller. After 20 years abroad, Mark Renton returns to Scotland and reunites with his old friends Sick Boy, Spud, and Begbie. T2 Trainspotting is rated R. The new release on DVD and Blu-ray for July 4th are pretty short. It has one title. That one is The Zookeeper's Wife, a historical drama starring Jessica Chastain, Daniel Bruhl, and Ido Goldberg. This is the account of the keepers of the Warsaw Zoo, Jan and Antonina Zabinski, who helped save hundreds of people and animals during the Nazi invasion. The Zookeeper's Wife is rated PG-13. Swinging by a new release on digital video for June 27th, we have The Lost City of Z, a biographical drama starring Charlie Hunnam, Tom Holland, and Robert Pattinson. Based on David Grann's best-selling book of the same name, The Lost City of Z is the true-life drama which centers on British explorer Colonel Percival Fawcett, who disappeared while searching for a mysterious city in the Amazon in the 1920s. The Lost City of Z is rated PG-13. For July 4th, digital video brings The Boss Baby, an animated comedy starring Alec Baldwin, Vivian Yi, and Eric Bell Jr. A suit-wearing, briefcase-carrying baby pairs up with his 7-year-old brother to stop the dastardly plot of the CEO of Puppy Co. The Boss Baby is rated PG. Moving right along to TV on DVD and Blu-ray, start things there on June 27th with Prison Break, the complete series spanning 2005 to 2017, and Resurrection, the event series from 2017, starring Dominic Purcell, Wentworth Miller, and Sarah Wayne Callies. Prison Break returns as a special event series with its most adrenaline-fueled storyline ever. Although he was buried 7 years ago, pictures from a Yemen prison reveal that Michael Schofield may still be alive, which sends shockwaves through everyone he knows. Determined to help rescue his brother, Lincoln enlists C-Note's help. Meanwhile, Michael's wife, Sarah, has remarried. And even if this biggest breakout yet is possible, is Michael the same man he was? The original Prison Break series ran from 2005 to 2009 and was the story of Michael Schofield and his quest to break his brother out of prison. The complete series collector's set includes all 4 seasons of the original series run, along with the Resurrection event series. Based on the press release, this set seems to ignore the Final Break television movie that originally capped off the original 4-season run. The other TV title for June 27th is The Strain, Season 3 from 2016, starring Corey Stoll, David Bradley, and Kevin Durand. The war between the bloodthirsty Strigoi and the remaining human survivors of New York intensifies in the chilling third season of The Strain. Although Dr. Ephraim Goodweather's bioweapon initially helped stave off the vampiric creatures, they have evolved into a bigger threat to humanity than ever. Now distraught over his kidnapped son, F teams with Dutch to search for signs of weakness in the Strigoi. Meanwhile, Abraham Satrakian's discovery of a mysterious shipment from Egypt brings a shocking realization in this pulse-pounding show filled with intense sci-fi action and thrilling plot twists. The TV slate for July 4th has one title. That one is Homicide, Life on the Street, the complete series, spanning 1993 and 1999, starring Richard Belzer, Clark Johnson, and Yaphet Kotto. One of television's most acclaimed and riveting dramas of all time, Homicide, Life on the Street arrives in its entirety with this comprehensive 35 DVD collection spanning 122 episodes. Executive produced by Barry Levinson and Tom Fontana, and based on the book Homicide, A Year on the Killing Streets by David Simon. Homicide, Life on the Street presented viewers with a gritty and realistic examination of detectives working the homicide division in Baltimore, Maryland.
Homicide.
I'll wrap up the home entertainment slate with Blu-rays from the past, and June 27th brings one title. That's The Lodger, A Story of the London Fog. A mystery drama by Alfred Hitchcock from 1927, celebrating 90 years, starring Ivor Novello, Marie Alt, and Isabelle Jans. A landlady suspects her new lodger is the madman who is killing women in London. The Lodger, A Story of the London Fog, is unrated. July 4th also brings one title, and that one is an American tale, Fievel Goes West. An animated family film from 1991 starring Philip Glasser, James Stewart, and Erica Yon. A family of immigrant mice decide to move out to the West, unaware that they are falling into a trap perpetrated by a smooth-talking cat. An American tale, Fievel Goes West, is rated G. After this brief break for about a shameless podcast cross-promotion, the Weekly Podioplex will continue.
So how would you describe a podcast like The Shared Desk?
It's a podcast that took its sweet time to do a promo.
Well, I think that goes without saying.
I mean, you could say The Shared Desk is a podcast about collaboration, because that's what we do.
Wait. There's a lot more to The Shared Desk. You got our Loot Crate Looky-Loo.
Oh, what's in the box?
And then what we're doing when we're not writing, usually it's pretty nerdy.
Nerd!
And then there are the drop-ins.
Has the whole world gone crazy?
Yes, there are drop-ins.
And we love having guests on the show. It's The Shared Desk after all.
And if it's Katie or Lauren, you get some lovely singing as well.
So find The Shared Desk on iTunes, Stitcher, or at theshareddesk.com. The Shared Desk. 2 writers.
1 podcast. Different points of view.
And welcome back to the Weekly Podioplex. I'm Denise with your Quick Flicks. Han Solo film too funny for Lucasfilm? Apparently, Phil Lord and Chris Miller's improv style and comedic sensibilities were too much for the tightly controlled Star Wars franchise. Lord and Miller were under the impression they were hired to make a comedy set in the Star Wars universe, while Lucasfilm wanted a more grounded story with comedic bits, a reflection of the original trilogy. Things came to a head when Lord and Miller encouraged actors to improvise during filming, which allegedly impacted the original story as conceived, and the studio believed the directors had a responsibility to tell the story as written. Oops. Here to save the day is Ron Howard, who has been hired on to finish the work Lord and Miller began. He has revealed that he is thankful for the opportunity to contribute to the legacy of the Star Wars project. Since the studio remains committed to releasing Han Solo in May 2018, they had to move quickly to find a new director, and Ron Howard was it. He will now travel to the set to meet with the cast and crew with the plan to resume filming on July 10th. While it sucks that Lord and Miller are gone, the Lego Movie and Batman movie were way too much fun. I can understand Lucasfilm's position. Kathleen Kennedy knows Star Wars, and she knows what she wants to see in the universe. Obviously, Lord and Miller didn't make the cut. Okay, you guys remember way back when I said something about Blade Runner 2049 not really answering the question of Deckard being a replicant? Yeah, about that. So Ridley Scott says 2049 is gonna answer that question. The original movie is one of the most iconic and influential science fiction movies of all time. If you've seen The Matrix or Minority Report, you've seen snatches of Blade Runner's aesthetic. One of the most enduring questions left at the end of the movie was whether Deckard was a replicant or not. Ridley Scott has said multiple times in the past that Deckard is a replicant, while crotchety old man Harrison Ford grunts that he isn't with a half smile that makes you wonder if he's saying that to be contrary or if it's the truth. Meanwhile, 2049 director Denis Villeneuve has said he won't be answering that question in the upcoming film. Now, in an interview with IGN, producer Ridley Scott says, "Ha ha ha, Deckard is so a replicant, neener neener." And he went on to say that it will be revealed in the sequel. He said, "Oh, it was always my thesis theory. It was one or two people who were relevant. I can't remember if Hampton agreed with me or not, but I remember someone had said, well, isn't it corny? I said, listen, I'll be the best judge of that. I'm the director, okay? So, and that you learn, by then I'm 44, so I'm no chicken. I'm a very experienced director from Commercials and The Duelists and Aliens, so I'm able to, answer that with confidence at the time and say, back off, it is what it's gonna be." Harrison, he was never, I don't remember actually, I think Harrison was going, I don't know about that. I said, but you have to be because Gaff, who leaves a trail of origami everywhere, will leave you a little piece of origami at the end of the movie to see, I've been here, I left her alive, and I can't resist letting you know that what's in your most private thoughts when you get drunk is a unicorn. Right? So I love Beavis and Butthead, so what I should follow that is duh. So now it will be revealed in the sequel one way or the other. Apparently, and according to Ridley Scott, the answer is a foregone conclusion that was revealed in the original film. It should be noted that the unicorn scene was added in later versions of the film and was not present in the original theatrical release. And for the record, the best version is the one without that terrible voiceover, and Villeneuve seemed very certain that the answer to the question would be left vague in 2049, and Scott seems to believe that the film will prove him right. Really, they just need to release the movie already. I am sick and tired of waiting. And it looks like we're getting a World War Z 2. Sweet! I like the first one. It's one of the only instances where that much of a deviation from the book wound up being a really good thing. That's not to say the book was bad. It wasn't. I just don't think it would have translated well into a movie as it was written. It's been 4 years since World War Z hit theaters, and it looks like the sequel is moving forward, with Paramount confirming David Fincher's return as director and David Fincher confirming Brad Pitt's return to the series. According to reports, the movie is in advanced development. In other sequel news, Jurassic World has a new chapter coming out entitled Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. It also has a new poster. But we're not going to talk about it because you guys don't want to hear me rant about it, or the movie that wanted to pass itself off as a worthy successor to Jurassic Park. And finally, I'm going to give you every superhero appearing in Infinity War. Why? Because I love you, that's why. And I know y'all are dying to find out. Number 1, Iron Man. Number 2, Captain America. Number 3, Winter Soldier. Number 4, Falcon. And I'm still wondering which one will ultimately wind up with a shield. Also, didn't they freeze Bucky? Number 5, Thor. Number 6, Loki. Number 7, Valkyrie. Yes! Number 8, Hulk. Number 9, Spider-Man. I still haven't decided if I'm going to see the early screening of this one or not. Number 10, Scarlet Witch. Number 11, Vision. 12, Doctor Strange. 13, Wong. I love Wong. He's my favorite. I will, however, be incredibly disappointed if Iron Man does not say facial hair bros to Doctor Strange in this movie. Number 14, Hawkeye. 15, Black Widow. 16, Black Panther. 17, Okoye. And I want her to look Thanos in the eye and say move or be moved. You hear me, Marvel? Number 18, Man Ape. Number 19, all of the Guardians of the Galaxy. No, I am not going to list them out, but the best part of this movie will be Rocket, Doctor Strange, and Iron Man all in a room together. Can you imagine the ego? Number 20, Nick Fury and Maria Hill. Maybe, probably, who knows? Number 21, Thanos and Black Order. Number 22, The Collector. Number 23, maybe Carol Danvers, but don't quote me on that. All right, and that's it for this week's Quick Flicks. I'll see you guys next time on the Weekly Podioplex.
Thank you, Denise. And here we are once again at the end of a new edition of the Weekly Podioplex. If you want to discuss anything you heard on this week's edition, we would love to hear from you. You can surf on over to the Chronic Rift homepage at chronicrift.com and leave an audio message right there on the website using a microphone. You can also write an email or send an MP3 to weeklypodioplex@gmail.com. If 140 characters or less is more your thing, you can still tweet us on Twitter. The Chronic Rift is chronic_rift. The Weekly Podioplex is Weekly Podioplex. Denise is Riley James Keith. And I am Womprat99, like the creature Luke with Bullseye in his T16 in Beggar's Canyon. You can give the Chronic Rift a thumbs up on Stitcher Radio, leave us a review on iTunes, and you can find the Weekly Podioplex and the Chronic Rift on Facebook. The usual disclaimer applies, of course. If you leave us feedback, you may hear your words on a future edition of the Weekly Podioplex. Take a moment, stop on by, and see what other shows the Chronic Rift Network has to offer. We have Cyborgs, a Bionic podcast, the Batcave podcast, the OSI Files podcast, the G2V podcast, Generations Geek, presenting the transcription feature, the Dan and Travis Show, the Sci-Fi Diner podcast, Doctor Who and Mr. Drew, the Home Game Show version podcast, and so much more. If you have a Roku player, you can treat it like a time machine and find us there on the Chronic Rift's Roku channel, which has episodes of the Chronic Rift's Adventures in the 1990s, when it was a public access television show on the New York City airwaves. Check us out and find the culture in pop culture. If you're interested in more of my adventures, take a quick trip to my blog, Creative Criticality, where I'm watching every episode of Doctor Who for the first time from the very beginning of the franchise and reviewing those tales in the Timestamps Project. Right now, the blog is entering the 19th season, the first season with the 5th Doctor, and those reviews can be found at creativecriticality.wordpress.com. You can also find Creative Criticality on Facebook. Denise can also be found on the internet at Accessories Not Included, where she talks about her writing, reviews books, and offers her services as a cover designer. Check her out at accessoriesnotincluded.com. If you decide to pick up any of this week's new releases, why not do it through our Amazon store? You get the newest entertainment at Amazon's low prices and high-quality service, and each purchase you make at that store supports the Chronic Rift Network. Your support keeps us on the air, and we appreciate your consideration. Look for the links to our best bets in the network store in our show notes, or click the Amazon box on the website. The Weekly Podioplex is a Lucky Shot production and is produced by John S. Drew. On behalf of Denise and John, this is Michael Faulkner. Thanks for listening. Until next time, there are adventures in drama, comedy and action, worlds to explore in the depths of film. Get some popcorn, find your favorite seat, and I'll see you at the theater.